about Facebook, it will come later. Were you able to listen to the HMT?
Yes, sir, I did.
Order.
Law and order, yes, I did.
I think that is one of our greatest needs in that country.
And you know, if you had not thought it,
yes,
nobody would even think in that direction.
I think you are right. I mean, Nigeria has been there for like how many years? For 60 years almost. And nobody is talking about, I've never heard about it all.
Yes. They don't see it as a problem.
But if we, in fact, there is no amount of money we have is going to fix that country until we do that, until we fix law and order.
That's true.
That's actually the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So all those people just blaming the politicians and saying it is the politicians to blame and the leadership. Well, what would even the leader will come? What will he if he himself doesn't know that it is law and order that is needed? There's nothing he can do. Well, we are waiting for the Facebook to start. I think you people have opened something. We need to close the window. Yeah, we're waiting for the Facebook people to come, and then I think I might need to do a series on I'm just thinking, I just came up to me now, maybe I should do on value system. Maybe I should do a series on value system for people to even know why value system is necessary and needed. Because we're talking about it, but people might not really know the depth of what value system means.
That's true.
So we're talking of value system. Because order is just one of value system.
Yeah.
One. What about if we talk about other value systems that might really be able to bring forth a lot of answers. Okay, are we on Facebook? They closed my Facebook, my YouTube.
Wow.
So we're using another YouTube where nobody is right now. Because we were using a lot of videos for the HMT.
Okay.
So some of them were probably unauthorized. I wonder why people are asking for authorization. Why should they put it out there then if they don't want it to be used? They put it on open access on YouTube, Facebook, and then you are saying you are unauthorized again. What does that mean? Yeah. Wow. You need to give the link of this YouTube. Okay, it's like we have one person on YouTube here. So we'll wait for the Facebook people. Clemson is a guy, handsome guy. You are a fashion icon.
Thank you, sir.
I think a lot of people from Edo State like fashion.
Delta State.
Delta, okay. You are from Delta, but what about Edo people also like fashion a lot?
Yeah, that's true.
When I was in Nigeria, it used to be one state.
Okay.
That's what I remember.
Bendem.
Yeah, they used to call it Bendem. So in my head, that is still what is still there.
Okay.
I know it's changed, but who is fixing the Facebook now, you girls? Yeah, call her. Her own internet. Then let Julie do it. She knows how to do it. First, call her. We cannot start now because of you people. Okay, let me check if we are live on Facebook. Okay, it's like we are live. Let me check if we are live on Facebook. All right, anybody there with us on Facebook yet? Okay, yeah, people are coming in. Charles Smith is number one. Okay, here we go. Clemson. Let's talk about how God brought you to Ukraine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Why Ukraine of all places?
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Clement. First of all, before I answer that question, I want to thank Pastor for giving me the opportunity to be featured in this Kingdom Fruit program. Thank you so much, sir.
Yep.
Okay, why Ukraine? How I got to Ukraine and why God brought me to Ukraine?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that I never dreamt of Ukraine. I didn't even imagine.
Maybe you never even heard of Ukraine.
Yes, I didn't even know about Ukraine until maybe a year or maybe a few months before I came to Ukraine.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about Ukraine except the fact that there's one Nigerian pastor, in Ukraine who is doing exploits. Now, before I came to Ukraine, I was in Abuja. I was living in Abuja, and I was teaching, in Abuja as a teacher after my university.
Teacher in a high school or?
In a high school, in a secondary school.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I made up my mind to further my education. And so I was left with the option of looking for a school outside Nigeria, to further my education. And then two options came to mind, and one was to go to Canada, and then the other one was to come to Ukraine.
Who suggested Ukraine?
Well, I had a few friends, who were schooling in Ukraine.
Okay.
They were my classmates, but they came to Ukraine ahead of me.
Okay.
So I knew of a classmate, a very close friend of mine, was schooling in Kharkov. And so I had to contact him.
Is he still there now, or he's gone back?
No, he's graduated.
And he's gone back?
Yeah, he's gone back. He's gone back to Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes. So we had options.
Why didn't you?
Ukraine was.
You had finished university before in Nigeria.
Yes. I did a first degree in human anatomy.
Okay.
From the University of Port Harcourt.
Okay. So, is it easier for you now, studying what you are studying, thanks to the first degree you have done?
Yes.
Or there is no difference? Or there is no difference?
Hello, sir. No, there is a lot of difference, a whole lot. A whole lot of difference. There are a lot of courses that I didn't do in my first degree that I'm doing now.
Okay.
Yes. And in fact, here in medical school, anatomy, you just do anatomy just first and second year.
Okay.
You know, just first and second year, you do anatomy. But then that was what I did 4 years, you know, in Nigeria. So there are a lot of other courses that we didn't do back in Nigeria that I'm doing here now.
But after doing anatomy in Nigeria, was it easier for you here?
Yes, it was easier, most especially for the first 3 years of medical school here. It was very easy because I was basically repeating what I had done in Nigeria before.
Okay.
But then, you know, in a better way.
Uh-huh.
You know, here they pay attention to details. They don't leave anything out compared to Nigerian schools.
And in Nigerian school, what is the difference?
Well, the difference in Nigerian school is that they don't pay attention to details. And again, for example, you could have a class, you could have a lecture, you know, with close to 300 students in one hall.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria. You know, and they're just teaching. There are no slides. As at then, no slides, no projectors. You know, they're actually using chalk and blackboard, you know, to teach.
In university?
In university. And sometimes people who are seated at the back seat will not even hear what the lecturer is saying.
Wow.
You know, and again, back then you could have a laboratory. Now we have 20 persons looking at one microscope. But here in Ukraine, each person has his own microscope. You know, so, and here the outline is such that you must do everything. If you miss one class, you have to go and rework it. You know, but back then in Nigeria, it wasn't so.
But why do Nigerian students always say that it's more difficult to study in Nigeria than here? That here is like resting.
Well, I think the system here is structured in such a way that you have to study every day. Here, you have to study every day because you know as you are going to class, you are going to answer questions.
I see.
But back in Nigeria, what happens is that you just live your life anyhow you want until when it's time for exams. And so you want to read everything, you know, just maybe 2 weeks to the exam.
Even in university?
In university. You know, so you have to be highly disciplined in Nigeria to be able to study every day.
Why?
Now, the reason is because most people, because they don't ask you questions in class every day, you don't get to read every day.
Okay, there's no need for it.
There's no need for it. We just wait till when the exam is closed, and then you study.
I see.
But here, every day you go to class with a test. So you have to study.
So do they ask you questions every day here or what?
Yes, every day. In fact, here they basically do not teach you in class. What they do is that they give you a lecture, you know, prior to this class. So you are expected to go read the lecture, and then you come to class to answer. Maybe you had the lecture 2 months ago or a month ago, but now you are having the class. So you have to refer back to that lecture, study it, and then go to class, and the teacher begins to ask you, you know, what you've read at home.
But it's not exam, it's just...
It's not exam, but that is what, you know, the scores accumulate. So it's cumulative. So what you get in class every day end up making part of your, you know, your final results.
But in class every day, is it teaching every day or exam every day?
It's like, they call it tests. It's like tests. So every day you go have tests, not teaching every day. They don't teach every day. Every day is tests. But they could pick one of the days for lectures. You go have lectures. So after the lecture, then you have a class.
Okay.
But that class is basically you are going to answer questions, not going to be taught again.
I got it. Because when we studied, it's like a week is lecture.
Okay.
And the next week on that subject is test. Every 2 weeks you have to do test. Every 2 weeks you have to do test.
Okay.
That's the way it was. I studied here too.
Yeah.
But our own was like every 2 weeks you have to do test. Every 2 weeks you have to do test.
Yeah, I think the medical school is different.
Okay.
Yeah, what you are saying now is what my wife, does in her school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she is also every 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Test. But your own is every other day.
Every other day you have a test.
But it makes it easier to some extent, no?
Yeah, actually, it makes it easier.
And makes you mobilized.
Yes. You just have to study. You just have to study. And it helps you because you are building your knowledge base. You are not skipping any topic.
So what system will you recommend for Nigeria in the future?
Well, I think the system here in Ukraine is better
than the Nigerian system.
Yeah, I think yes.
So if you have opportunity to recommend something for Nigeria, you will recommend the Ukraine system?
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay, so you are looking for admission abroad, and then?
Okay, so I was looking for admission, and then I had two options: Ukraine and Canada.
Okay.
And then because Ukraine was cheaper, I chose Ukraine. The school fees here is quite cheaper than that in Canada.
Yeah.
And again, I already had some friends here schooling in Ukraine. So I applied to a school in Lugansk, but somehow I couldn't get the admission. And then I had to apply to another school. That was Donetsk. And then I got admission for Donetsk. However, I was coming to Ukraine with the mind of studying medicine, but something happened before I left Nigeria. While I was waiting for my visa, God spoke to me and said to me that I was actually traveling abroad to do ministry. I thought I was coming to school, but here God was telling me that I was traveling abroad to do ministry. And in fact, God said to me that I'm not going to work with my certificates. That was just 2 weeks before my visa was ready. And then God began to say to me that he's called me into ministry and that he has given me a ministry that will cut across nations. But I couldn't tell my father that God said I'm going abroad to do ministry. Because
he was going to be sponsoring your education, eh?
Yes, he was going to be sponsoring my education. And again, he's not even born again. So to now tell him that you are going abroad to do ministry, he would just say, don't go again, So I didn't tell him about it.
And most Nigerian parents are dreaming of a medical doctor in the family, eh?
Yes,
Including your father.
My father cannot wait for me to graduate.
He wants to have a medical doctor.
Yes, sir. So, but then it was before I left Nigeria, I already knew that even though I wanted to study medicine, and my father is in support of me studying medicine, but this time around, my coming to Ukraine, medicine was not the primary goal in the eyes of God. But for me and my dad, it was medicine I was coming to do. And so I just felt like medicine, of course, Ukraine will not give me visa to come here, to come do ministry.
Yes.
So I just feel like medicine is just an avenue for God to bring me to Ukraine and to come under your mentorship to be taught and to be prepared.
So you kind of thought that you'll be able to get to me, right?
Yes, before I left Nigeria, my pastor told me that when I get to Ukraine, I should look for Pastor Sunday Adelaja,
But a lot of other people who are coming to Ukraine rather are thinking that it will be impossible to get to see Pastor Sunday Adelaja. Many people think like that.
Yeah, well, I thought so too before. I thought so. Even though my pastor told me that I should look for you when I get to Ukraine, I got here for about a year and a half. I didn't talk to you. I didn't message you. I didn't say anything to you.
Is it because it was not possible, or why?
Yeah. One, I felt it wasn't possible.
In your own mind.
Yeah, in my mind, I felt it was going to be difficult.
But I was always available now.
Yes, but then another thing was that I felt, okay, I'm new here, let me just get to know the terrain, get to know Ukraine a little before I could make any move, to come see you. But then something happened again. I came in 2013. And as at 2014, December, I felt a very strong, drive to come and see you. In fact, I had even taken off my mind from seeing you.
Wow. Why?
I just cannot tell. Maybe should I say I was too, engrossed in schoolwork, and I was not even thinking about, even though I knew that I had a calling into ministry, and I knew what my pastor told me before I left, Nigeria. But when I got here, I was so, carried away with medical school that I actually forgot that I was supposed to come and see you.
Okay.
So it was in December 2014, I felt strongly that it was time for me to come see you. Every day, I was thinking about coming to see you. And so I had to watch, there was the 2014 crossover night in your church, God Embassy Church. I watched the service. I watched it on Facebook.
So that was the time you were watching. That was the first time you were seeing me live.
Yeah, that was the first time I was seeing you live. Although I've been seeing your pictures on Facebook, your church, but I've not. Then I had not watched you, preach. I had not listened to you preach. So even while I was watching the crossover service, for no reason, I just started crying. As I was just looking at you, seeing the church, seeing the worship and everything that was going on. In my room, I started crying and I just started praying.
But it was not in English. Was it in English?
It wasn't in English, but they were singing. They were singing worship songs in Ukrainian language that I knew in English. I'm a follower of Hillsong, so they were doing a lot of Hillsong worship, but in the Ukrainian version of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was able to follow. But then I think the message was translated.
Okay.
I think the message was translated, so I was able to follow follow that crossover service. Now, so I had to write to you. I sent you an email that my name is Clement. I introduced myself, that I'm a young pastor, and that I would love to see you, for mentorship. And then you replied me, and that was my greatest surprise. Pastor replied me, because I was thinking that maybe to take a very long time, or you may not even reply my email. And so you replied and you said, why not, that I could come to Kyiv to see you, that I should pick a date. So, and that time there was men's HMT. You were having HMT for men, for Ukrainian men. So I had to come around that period. That was in January, early 2015. First week of 2015. So I came to Kyiv to see you. And when I got there, the reception was not what I imagined. I didn't think about it, because back in Nigeria, you can't see the Jews. You can't see, even see your regional pastor. You have to fill some forms and go through some protocols. But then you didn't know me. I just wrote you that I wanted to see you, and you invited me. And then I got to your house. You welcomed me. And another thing you did was you took me into your VIP session, and then you said I should look. You were showing me your mode of work, that come and see how we work. And you were showing me some things on the laptop. This is how we work. This is how we receive email. This is how we reply to email. I was like, man, who does this? And so I felt so at home. I was shocked, actually. And that time I came, there was a bishop who also came from Brazil to come see you. I think Bishop Emmanuel, I think, is his name.
Yes.
You know, so we were there together. And so we got to talk. I told you, you know, why I came, and that I came for mentorship, that I'm new in Ukraine, and my pastor asked me to come see you when I come. And he said, there's no problem, you know. And so we talked, and then when I got back to my city, I just couldn't rest. You know, I think that very day I got back, I think I was sleeping, and I just heard in my spirit, why not, you know, start mobilizing students, you know, to Ukraine? Because I felt that
to Ukraine or to Kiev? Okay.
To Kiev. So I felt that if a bishop would come from Brazil, to come see you in Ukraine, and we are here in Ukraine, and we are not taking advantage of what we have. You know, so God just impressed in my heart that why not mobilize students to Kiev for training with Pastor Sunday? And that was how I had to write to you again, and I said to you that God has placed in my spirit that we should, you know, mobilize students to come for HMC, for training in Kiev. And you said, why not? That if we could get like 30 students, then we could go ahead with the training. And thankfully, we were able to mobilize people, you know, from different states in Ukraine, and we're able to have the first student HMC. But I feel that that HMC was specifically for me. You know, because that HMC was the first time I was really sitting under your teaching, you know, not live on Facebook, you know, sitting, you know, under your teaching. And we heard, the messages we heard were mind-blowing. You know, I could remember when you thought about, could you be the Abraham of your nation? I couldn't sit down. In fact, at the end of that message, I was weeping. And the guy that was sitting close to me was weeping. Why? Because we've never heard faith being taught like that before. We've never heard the story of Abraham being taught that way before. And so we were so, you know, overwhelmed by the knowledge and the wisdom of God that was coming, you know, from you. And so we left, for me, actually, I left that HMC with a mindset that I am going to become a father of nations. That it's going to happen because, you know, you were saying that day that if we have about 200 nations in the world, and Abraham could become the father of nations, then we needed just 200 people to bring the kingdom of God upon every nation. And so I left that, you know, that HMC with the mindset of becoming a father of a nation. It may not be a physical nation, a geographical nation. It may be an area of calling. You know, but no matter what happens, I am going to become a father of nations.
Is that HMT on YouTube?
Yes, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. You know. So, and again, in that HMT, a lot of people who were just living their lives, you know, like a biomass.
Even though they were Christians.
Even though they were Christians. You know, after that HMT, a lot of them went back and they started living life intentionally and consciously. You know, and some people started having products from that HMT.
Is it a rare thing for Nigerian Christians to live intentionally and consciously?
Well, more often than not, most Nigerian Christians are just, in quotes, spiritual. And they think that life is just about go to church, try to live a holy life, pray in tongues, attend all the meetings, and that's all. Most of them don't even understand the concept of calling and purpose. I mean, if you go to Nigeria now and begin to teach people about their purpose and their calling, how to find their purpose, you'll be surprised that a lot of people do not understand the concept of having a promised land, of having a calling and a purpose.
So they don't know their promised lands.
They don't know. They don't even think about it.
So what do they do?
Well, they are just, comfortable with the routine of going to church every week. And then from church, you go to work, and then you just work for maybe 70 years or 60 years, and then you retire and life, and that's all, But when we came for that HMT, we saw, products, we saw results. We saw people who were in charge of orphanages, rehabilitation centers, people that, you picked from the streets and groomed.
These are Ukrainians, Russians.
Yeah, Ukrainians, yes. And people that you mentored. And they were having results. And then also in that HMT, we talked about, church shifts. Because prior to that time, we had thought that church is just within the four walls. But then we saw people who were reaching out to the world, who were kingdom-minded, but outside the four walls of church. They were producing results outside the four walls of church.
But I still think that up to now in Nigeria, people still don't know that church should be outside of the four walls. Because everybody is still talking church in Nigeria from what I can get from their comments.
Yeah, that is what they've been taught over the years. And it's going to take some time to get that out of their head, if it will happen at all. Because
what percentage will you think is still living just church concept in Nigeria?
Well, I would say 95%. 95%. Only very few persons, understand that the church is beyond the four walls, and that the ministry, the calling, is actually supposed to be in our various promised lands. But then everybody is kept in church to do housekeeping. So just be an usher, just be a music director, just within the house there. And people are not even ready, to go confront the darkness outside the church. And so we have too much light concentrated in one place. But that was the same mentality I had before I came for that HMT. It was after that HMT that I now realized that my classroom is a promised land. As I'm walking on the streets, that is the promised land. My place of work is the promised land. If I'm selling in the market, that is the promised land. So anywhere I find myself, I can bring the kingdom of God to that place. It doesn't have to be. In fact, when we are in the four walls of church, we are not spreading the kingdom. Because we are just coming to just worship God, just sing praises to God, and then pray all the selfish prayers about ourselves, and then we go back home. We are not going out to show people what Jesus actually, talked about. We're not going out to show love to people. We're not going out to tell people about the kingdom and how they can find their calling and their purpose that God has given to them. We are not thinking about how to change society. We are just concerned about church. So, but HMT changed all of that.
Was it a shock for you to get to know that to receive that kind of understanding, that HMT?
Yes, it was a shock for me. Although prior to the HMT, I think a few weeks before the HMT, I had read your book, Church Shifts. Because it was among the list of books we were supposed to read to prepare for HMT. So while I was reading Church Shifts, my eyes were opened, to find out that church is not just, within the four walls. And then when we got to the HMT again, one of your assistant pastors, also taught on church shifts, and that opened up, my understanding, even though I had read it, but it became clearer when we started seeing the testimonies of people, who came from the streets, and now they've been mentored and they are going back to the street to raise other people, to change society, to help the homeless, to help, to help the orphans and the destitute. So that HMT opened my eyes to begin to live consciously and intentionally. And I'm sure a lot of people who left that HMT also went back and started living a productive life.
So it's like God brought you to Ukraine more for that encounter and for this encounter than for medical school.
Yes. Like I said before, medical school is just a platform for me to be able to come to Ukraine. But as the day goes by, it becomes clearer that I actually came to have a contact with you, to be mentored by you, and to be taught and be prepared for the calling and the purpose of God upon my life.
So now you are talking as somebody who is living in Ukraine. So you have met Pastor Sunday face to face. A lot of people who are watching this program, they have never met Pastor Sunday face to face. So who is Pastor Sunday? How will you describe him to people who are just watching and seeing him coming on daily broadcast?
Well, that question, it seems difficult, but I'll try to answer it.
Or maybe we should ask it differently. Okay. As an outsider who was just hearing about Pastor Sunday before you came to Ukraine and the Pastor Sunday you met, maybe you want to do that parallel. Maybe that would be a better way, or just anyhow you want to help people. Okay, now, like I said before I left Nigeria, we heard that there is a pastor in Ukraine who was doing exploits. But then coming to Ukraine to meet you one-on-one, first of all, what we heard was only maybe 10% of the exploits that I've seen in Ukraine. It's one thing to just say there's one Nigerian pastor in Ukraine who is doing exploits. It's another thing to come here and see the exploit by yourself. That's one. Secondly, people in Nigeria may be thinking that, he's one of those GOs that are not reachable, that you can't reach. But then coming to Ukraine, I found out that in fact, your home is everybody's home. You welcome people all the time from different countries. People are always coming to see you. Now that shows that you are accessible. Someone in Nigeria may be thinking that, that man of God there that is, has one of his... Is it possible to talk about me this time, not like you, like second person, like me sitting before you, but as a third person, like DSA's house, DSA's church, DSA's. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I don't want to relate myself as one-on-one. I want you to talk about the third person of DSA, Okay. So now, DSA's house. Yeah. Now, DSA's house is open to anybody. DSA is accessible. He's not like one of those GOs in Nigeria that you cannot access. And DSA lives an open life. DSA's life is like an open book. Almost everything that happens in your house. In fact, there was a time where, one of DSA's assistants was coming live every day on Facebook to show us DSA's daily routine. I mean, who does that? There's no GO who will do that to allow you, get to see his daily routine every day. So DSA that I know is a father. Although he doesn't like people calling him father. But he's a father because he has the qualities of a father. DSA is a mentor. Anybody who is looking for mentorship, you can easily access DSA to get mentorship and you will not regret it. So DSA is a very friendly person. In fact, one thing that surprised me when I got to meet DSA was the way he laughs. I've never seen a pastor laugh like that before. DSA would just
be laughing with you as if he knew you, 10 years ago. And he's so open, he cracks jokes, So DSA is just like every other person when it comes to relationships. He relates with people. He doesn't put himself on one pedestal as a demigod. DSA is homely. Then, as it has to do with wisdom and understanding, I thought that, one pastor is in Ukraine doing exploits. In my mind, I thought, okay, maybe doing revival, just doing church, just having the largest church. But when I got to Ukraine and I got to meet DSA, I realized that DSA is beyond church. DSA is knowledgeable in almost every area of life. When I started listening to DSA, I realized that a lot of pastors in Nigeria and even worldwide have not built themselves as much as DSA has done. Because the things DSA talks about, you don't hear them anywhere. So when I came, I realized that this man of God is not just one of those pastors who do exploit and they measure their exploit by just the number of people that come to their church. DSA is versatile. There is nothing he will not be able to talk about, no topic he can't talk about. So I think that anybody who really wants to live a productive life, you want to live a life of legacy, you need to come in contact with Pastor Sunday. At times I used to tell my wife that for somebody to live and not get to listen to any of DSA's messages or not meet DSA one-on-one, that person will be missing a lot.
In his lifetime.
In his lifetime. Because getting to meet DSA will open your eyes. You begin to, it will be as if, actually the way I felt when I came for the first HMC, I just felt like I've not been living. I felt like I've just been wasting my life. That is why I said that HMC was just, it was for me. Because I started living after that
You
HMC.
came alive.
I came alive. And something happened. Now, prior to that HMC, I never heard any pastor talk about, having a vision for his life for the next 100 or 200 years of his life. I never heard any pastor talk about, wanting to write about 3,000 or 1,500 or 1,000 books or 3,000 books before he dies. So getting to HMC and seeing a man like me saying that he wants to write close to 3,000 books and have a vision for in the next 200 days of his life, I was challenged. And when I got back after the HMC, I went into solitude because it was summer holiday. So for about 2 months, I was indoors. I started living a productive life. The summer prior to that time, I used the holiday playing football because I love football.
No, it's not possible.
I was just playing football. And I even started a football team.
Nothing to do with life.
Nothing. And so when I got back from the HMC, they were sending me messages on my phone. We have training today, we have match tomorrow. I did not reply anyone. What was I doing? I went back, I started listening to messages, I started reading, and I started writing.
So you discovered my Facebook, my YouTube, or what did you discover?
Yes, I discovered your YouTube, your YouTube channel, and then some of the old messages you did before you started doing Facebook Live.
Yes.
So I discovered them. I had to listen to to most of them. Some of the interviews you had also. And so I started writing. Now I came out of that solitude with 4 books.
Wow.
Now I would have wasted that 2 months holiday if I had not gone for HNC. So I was able to be so productive that I could sit down like this from morning till night. The only time I went out was to go buy something to eat. Because I was angry with myself. What have I been doing with my life? I've been going to church, I've just been going to school, that's just a routine. But what product, what evidence do I have? None. And so I had to start writing. And I was able to put four books together. And then again, I started a blog. And I started writing articles, putting on the blog.
So you are able to do in one summer what you have not done your whole life? In
my whole life. What I've not even thought of. Because now, before I came to Ukraine, I was not a writer. In fact, I hated writing. I hated writing, whether with pen or they won't type on the laptop. I didn't even know how to type on the laptop.
Wow.
Because I only got a laptop when I wanted to come to Ukraine. And so I was still trying to learn how to type on the keypad. And then to write with a pen is difficult for me. So I never saw myself as a writer. Until when I got back from that HNC, I said, no, I have to be productive. And then I started writing. And so I was able to come out with 4 books. I opened a Facebook leadership page. And then any article I put on my blog, I share it on Facebook also. And so that's how I started living consciously.
But you were, even when you were coming from Nigeria, someone like you was always being regarded as someone who was serious.
Yes.
So what kind of seriousness is that if it was not productive? And in one summer, you are able to have more product than the whole rest of your life.
Now, you see, like I said before, productivity as they measure it back home is based on how well you can pray and how well you can speak in tongues.
Okay.
How well you can maybe cast out demons.
Go to church.
So that's what they call productivity.
I see.
Back home. Because before I left Nigeria, I was the youth president of my church, and I was the choir director also. Before I came to Ukraine, and so I was just into church, Bible study, choir rehearsals, church on Sunday, prayer meetings.
But nothing.
I used to organize.
But nothing to show for it.
But nothing. I used to organize camp meetings. We'll have 3 days dry fasting and prayer.
No result.
No result. So.
But in 1 year or one summer.
1 summer, 2 months.
Your life exploded.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I wanted to ask you, that since all those things you were saying about your encounter with DSA, what are the fruits so far up to now that your life, how will you parallel your life?
Okay.
Between that time, even when you were already in Ukraine 2 years and you didn't come to see DSA, and since the time you met him, even your life in Ukraine or your life in Nigeria, before Ukraine, before DSA, and then up to now, what is there any difference, and how is your life totally different?
Well, there are a whole lot of differences, a whole lot. Now, first of all, there is a mind shift. I have a different worldview from what I used to have. I used to think that, okay, just have a church, just be a pastor and just preach very well, and then you are a successful, pastor until I got to HMT and I realized that church or success in ministry is not just about wearing suit and tie and waiting for people to come listen to you every Sunday. So first of all, my idea about ministry changed. Because I used to be like, I want to have a very big church with a lot of people, and then I'll be preaching, I'll be the one preaching and all of that. But now, I'm not interested in a big church. Because I understand now that everywhere could be the church. It doesn't have to be, a building gathering people. I could be on Facebook now and reach the whole world with the message that I have.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer interested in gathering crowd in one building. So that was the first thing that changed for me. And then secondly, I now realized that ministry is more about reaching to the down and out, reaching to the homeless,
less privileged,
the less privileged, the orphans. And in fact, after the HMT, when I got back, I just called a few people from my church, and we quickly went to, I think it was on Easter Day? I think it was on Easter Day also. And we went to the orphanage. We bought a few things, let's go. And it was fulfilling for us. We felt that we were able to touch people, to reach people, And then again, meeting Pastor Sunday. Like I said before, when it had to do with time management, I thought I knew how to use my time very well. I thought I was actually, very productive. But after meeting Pastor Sunday, no time is wasted now. If I'm wasting 1 minute or if I'm wasting an hour, I begin to feel guilty. Prior to this time, I could waste a whole day and it's nothing. I don't even feel like I'm wasting a day. But meeting Pastor now, I can't afford. If I waste 1 hour, I begin to feel guilty on my inside. Why? Because I've learned conversion. I've learned that every minute, every second, every hour must be converted. And so now, every day, I'm converting. Unlike before, I was just wasting my time. But now, I now understand time conversion. Then again, apart from time conversion, I now understand that every time that passes must be able to give birth to a product. And that your productivity is measured by how many products you are able to produce. And so now, I'm working with a consciousness that as this time is going, I want to get a product out of it. I want to grab something out of the time. Now, that is why I started, apart from those 4 books I said I wrote, which I have not published yet.
No, you published one, no?
I published just one.
Do you have that one you published?
Yes, sir, I have it.
Please, can you show us? Because people are asking what your name is. How can they get your stuff?
Okay, my name is Clement, and this is the book. It's titled Your Potentials, the Source of Your Greatness. Secrets to unleashing your full potential and achieving greater heights in life. Now, you can get this book on Amazon, and you can get it on Okada Books also. Just type the book title, Your Potentials, the Source of Your Greatness by Clement Ogedebe, and you'll get the book. And for people in Ukraine, they can actually get the hard copy. If they call my number, they can get a hard copy wherever they are in Ukraine.
Well, how can they get your number?
Okay.
Or your Facebook.
Yeah, okay. My Facebook is Clemsy Clements.
Clemsy
Clements.
Clement.
Or just type Clement Ogedebe as a nickname. You see it there. Clemsy Clements. That's my Facebook name. So you can reach me through my Facebook.
They can inbox you?
Yeah, they can inbox me, yes.
Okay.
They can inbox me. Okay, so now, apart from this book and the other books the 4 books I wrote that summer, currently, after meeting DSA, every thought is a book. Every thought is a book.
Even now, everybody who is listening to you now will be thinking you are already talking like you are like a second DSA.
You know, I've been taught by you. I've been mentored by you, and I can only replicate what I've seen and what I've learned. Now, every thought is a book. You know, every day I tell my wife, baby, I just got a new book topic. She'll say, what is it? I'll tell her. Because I could just be walking on the street and a thought comes. It's a book. I write it down. I could be talking with somebody and the person is sharing a story with me. It's a book. And as I'm talking to you now, I have about 110 book topics, book titles.
So people who are saying, is Pastor Sunday a human being? But you now can explain to them that everybody can become, what have we been doing with life?
You see, everybody can replicate what Dr. Sunday has done. You just need to be mentored. First of all, you have to decide what you want from life. Because there are a lot of people who came for that same HMC and others who have been to other HMCs who may not be as productive because they've not really defined what they want from life. Now, what happened? After I wrote those 4 books, the other HMC we had in 2016, we were just talking, and then Pastor Sunday said, I need people who will edit books for me. And I'm going to pay them. Now, believe me, as at that time, I still didn't consider myself a writer or an editor or anything. But I just said, I can edit books. And Pastor said, okay, why not? Let me give you a list of topics. And then he gave us a list of topics, and I chose a topic to go and edit. And I got back from the second HMC, that's the HMC 2016 summer HMC. When I got back, I started editing Pastor's book. Now, after editing that book, I realized that the first 4 books I wrote were child's play. I was playing. I realized that the first 4 books I wrote were below standard. Why? Because DSA started teaching us how to write books. Write it like this, do it like this, put this correction. And so with that, training, my writing skills, became better. And after I finished editing that book, I picked another book I edited, and you see, that is why I will advise anybody who really wants to be productive to go under mentorship. And not just from anybody, from DSA. Because before every thought is now a book to me, I had gone through, a process. And what is that process? Just editing books for DSA has taught me how to write. Such that I could sit down in a week, I could finish a book. I could write a book.
Not just a small book, oh.
Yes, I could write a book of 200 and maybe over 200 pages in a week.
Thick book.
Thick book. How? Because I learned from Dr. Sunday. And so now, and you see, I was even saying, okay, now I want to be publishing 1 book every month. Now, and I realized that even if I want to publish 1 book every month, with the list of topics I have now, I could only even release 12 books in a year. But I have over 100 topics. So I need to even finish 60 books, 60 topics. I need 5 years to do that. And to get 120 books, I need 10 years to do that.
And there's no guarantee that more will not come.
In fact, more are coming. Today I got a topic. Just this morning, I was telling my wife, I was in the kitchen. No, I think that was yesterday. I was in the kitchen, and a thought just came, and it became a book.
People will be thinking, people will be looking at you and saying you are a wizard, though.
It is very easy. We just need to, be taught, and we have to be ready to learn. Because I noticed the first book I edited for Pastor, there were a lot of mistakes. And, Pastor wrote to me, do it like this, do it like this. And one thing that I appreciate with Dr. Sunday, he doesn't condemn you. He he encourages you. He tells you can do it. Even if you write something, maybe you write something, an article, and give to DSA, and he reads it. Even if that article is not up to standard, DSA will first of all praise you, encourage you, thank that for you to even write. That ability to pick up the pen to write alone, DSA appreciates that. And then he said, okay, do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. So I have been taught. Now, the second book I edited was better than the first one. The third one I edited was better. Apart from the book I said I wrote and the topics I have, in a year, I was able to edit 6 books for Pastor Sunday.
For DSA?
Yes. In a year, I was able to edit 6 books. Now, that is productivity. I would never have done that if I had not met you. I would still just be maybe just going to church, just coming back, just praying, and that's all. There will be no products to show for it. And I don't know, but most people did not get the challenge. They heard you talk about how many books you want to write before you die. But some people just say, oh, wow, and they didn't do anything about it. But for me, I understand that I came to Ukraine to meet you. I came to Ukraine to be taught and to be mentored. That's why I came. So I could seize the moment, but most people will allow it pass by. Why? Because they're not conscious of what, they don't even know how God, they don't even know that getting to meet you is divine, is divinely orchestrated. So now, you were talking about some of the things, I've been able to do after meeting you. So writing books is just one of them. That's just one. Getting over 100 topics to write on, and I have the templates of these books. I just need to develop them. Now that's just one aspect. Now, before now, I don't usually read or listen to, documentaries or things that are not churchy, that are not religious. If it's not the Bible or if the book is not a spiritual book, I don't get to read.
You are a typical Nigerian Christian.
Yes, I was.
No self-education, nothing.
Yes, we were just thinking that just read the Bible and that's all. But then after meeting Dr. Sunday, now I read anything. I can watch documentaries. I can watch history of nations. I can read biographies of people. Because there's no way you can even write a book without getting to read wide. Because you're not going to be quoting Bible in all your books.
And the kind of book we're writing, and the kind of book you write and I write, they are not religious books.
They are not religious books. Because if you just Bible, it means that you've already chosen your audience and you've limited yourself already. But the calling is to reach to the whole world, not just Christians alone. So that is why now I can read anything. And thanks to what DSA has taught.
If I am you, I would have been. If I were you, I would have been using your name, your Facebook name for your books. If I were you, I would have been. If I had the opportunity to have a name like you, a catchy name, I would have. I would have just been using Clemsy Clement.
Yeah, that's true.
That way it was going to sell better in Germany, Western Europe, America, all over the world than Clement.
Clement Ogedegbe, yes, that's true.
Yeah. Think about that. For
For
the future topics.
It's a nice idea. It's a nice idea. Because some people just seeing the name.
If you notice, you will see that even in my own books, you see how tiny my names are.
Yeah.
It's because of that Adelaja.
Yes.
Because the world there, they don't think that there's anything a black man can teach them.
That's true. That's true. You know. Okay. So now, apart from the book, I started doing, self-education, doing research, learning, listening to teachings, listening to DSA messages, reading biographies of people, history of nations. I started reading wide. And then after that, because we have been taught to be productive and to understand that everybody has a promised land, I started off something that is called Heroes Academy. I know my wife talked about it, when she came live, when she came for Kingdom Fruits. Now we started Heroes Academy. And what is Heroes Academy? Heroes Academy is a leadership school that we started in my city. I live in Ivano-Franklin.
I'm looking at you and I'm listening to you and I'm saying, another giant is born.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, and a lot of people are writing me, always envious of the young men who are around me in Ukraine.
Yeah.
People are always writing.
Wow.
Yeah. So just say they envy you guys. Yeah, go ahead.
We are actually privileged to have met you, sir. So now we started Heroes Academy. Now, what is Heroes Academy? It's a school, a leadership school, where we teach people. Now, this school is not a religious school. It's not for Christians alone. Anybody, atheist, Muslim, you are welcome to be part of the school. And what are we doing? We are just picking DSA's messages that he has taught us, and we are teaching people. We are teaching people how they can discover their purpose in life, how they can find their promised land and their calling. And you won't believe that most people that we teach, when they hear such messages, they are wowed. They're like, where do you get this from? Because they've never thought of it.
Even though they are medical students.
Even though they are medical students.
Most of them are university students.
Yeah, from engineering school, different schools. Not only medical school. Even school of economics, we have students. Now, when we teach them about calling, about their purpose, some of them even want to weep. They feel like they've been wasting their whole life. Because for all you know, a lot of them are just studying medicine or engineering because their parents wanted them to. They don't understand that everybody has a specific purpose. They just follow the societal system of, go to primary school, go to secondary school, and then go get a certificate and then get a job. But when we started teaching them about their calling and their purpose, they are just overwhelmed. Now, in Heroes Academy, we teach about how to find your purpose. We started teaching them about time management. And for most of them, when I taught them, what do you do with your time? All of them, they were just looking at me like this. They're like, where is this guy coming from?
Wow.
Because when you tell them that every second must be converted and every minute must be converted, and you are telling them that, any man who dares to waste 1 hour of time doesn't know the value of life. They don't understand it. Because prior to this time, they've not even imagined that time is equal to life. They've not thought of it before. Because even me, I didn't know that time was equal to life.
Maybe that's why everybody is always late in Nigeria.
Yes. I didn't even know. And a lot of people do not know. So having listened to your message on what do you do with your time and on how to convert time into products, and then we taught the people in Heroes Academy, everybody started, being productive. So they are now working with a consciousness that I don't have to waste my time. So we see that productivity coming from them. And I'm not talking about just Christians. I'm talking of atheists. In fact, there was a time we went to, a friend's house we went there to just tell them about Heroes Academy and just talk to them. And there was a guy who said he was an atheist. He was there. And so while we were talking, we were first of all talking about religious stuffs. And the guy was arguing, he was arguing, no Jesus, no this and that. And then we switched. We started talking about purpose.
About life.
Yeah, talking about life. Let's talking about time management. The guy was humbled. He couldn't argue again. You see, that is because when you are talking about just religious stuff, people can easily start arguing with you. Atheists will tell you, this is, a Muslim will tell you his own. But when I started talking about purpose, time management, hard work, how to be a workaholic, they don't argue, they just listen and they learn, and they take pen and they write down. They don't even care that this guy, okay, he's a pastor, me, I'm a Muslim. No. Why? Because the topics that you have taught us, that we have learned from you, they are not topics that are religious. They are topics that cut across everybody. And so we were able to raise people. Now, something happened. Like I said, we started Heroes Academy in Ivano-Frankivsk, that's my city. Meanwhile, my wife was schooling in Tenopi. Now, she caught the passion also. She got to Tenopi.
Which is another state.
And she started Heroes Academy there. And everything that I have taught them before, and then she goes to listen to your videos, to add to what I've taught, and then she goes to Tenopi, and she's teaching them. And then she was just even in first year. And people who were in final year were coming to listen to her.
The wisdom compelled them.
They were coming to listen to the wisdom that was coming. That is why I said earlier that anybody who lives his life and doesn't get to encounter your messages or listen to you teach, I kind of pity that person. So that was how she started Heroes Academy in Tenopi. And within 1 month, she had gathered more people in Tenopi than I gathered in Ivano. So that's one of the, the product that we were able to get from meeting you and from learning from you. People are now living with consciousness. People are now beginning to live a productive life. People are now searching for their purpose. People are now converting their time, to produce products. Now, thanks to the encounter with you.
There is no way I will not ask you this question. With the way you are talking, it is so clear that you are a future star to the world arena, to the world stage, that it is impossible not to ask you, what are your future plans?
Okay. Now, first of all, what you have said is true. In fact, before I left Nigeria, God had told me that He has given me a ministry that will cut across nations. And in fact, the word was so strong, and He was saying to me that the kind of ministry He has given to me, that only very few persons,
individuals,
only very few individuals have been able, to do the kind of thing that He wants to do with me.
And it's clear now, just listening to you now.
Yeah, so that's what God said to me. And that is why I know that my encounter with you is divine.
Because I'm listening to you now, you are totally different from even 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Because now God told me that there are pastors and there are pastors. And that the kind of messages that are going to be coming out of my mouth, that it will heal a lot of people. Not like, medical healing kind of, but the knowledge and the wisdom that will be coming out of my mouth, that it will heal a lot of people. That the kind of calling He has given to me, that the world has seen only very few of it.
That's true.
And so when I look at you, I just see that there is no way I will not replicate what you are doing. Because I see myself, because for God to tell me that you are going to Ukraine to do ministry, And God has already placed you in Ukraine for me to have contact with you. So I know that I'm just waiting to get done with school. I'm waiting to get done with school to actually go into my calling, to do what God has called me to do. Now, in fact, now it is clearer, because before I used to think that, okay, just have a big church, like I said. But getting in contact with you, I now understand what God meant when he was saying that the kind of message that will come out of my mouth, that most people will be wowed, they will be overwhelmed by it. And so I see myself replicating what DSA is doing right now. I see myself reaching the world. I see myself, reaching the nations of the earth.
And if you say replicating DSA, in fact, I don't know where you have to travel to listen to anything that is similar. It's like you said about your wife when we were talking before the program, that she's topping her class and giving them gap as well. And far ahead. So if the others are getting C, she's getting A. So, but that is the kind of thing. If you are going to be, and you're already replicating, it is a confirmation of what you are saying, that you are definitely going to be one of the few ones, because you can cross the whole world and not come across anything close.
That's true. And I'm already, I don't know, but people will think maybe I'm blowing my trumpet. But
no, it doesn't appear like that. But it also takes humility to be able to talk about yourself freely and not be afraid of what people will say.
Yeah, but you know how I feel now? I'm already feeling lonely. Now, what do I mean by feeling lonely? I'm feeling like in my generation, only very few of us will walk the roads that I will walk.
Yes.
That's what I feel, because I talk to my classmates, I talk to people, and it's just like I'm coming from a different world. And so I see myself being lonely.
Already. And you have not even finished school. You have not even started full time yet.
I have not started. I'm just waiting to graduate. I'm just waiting to graduate. The world has not seen me. The world has not seen me. I'm just waiting to graduate, where I have control of my time. Now school is still dictating what you do, when to sleep, when to wake up, and all of that. I was talking about writing a book in a week. If I don't go to school, I'm not doing anything, 2 books can come out in a week.
Wow.
So for me, the future is a bright one. I believe what God said to me before I left Nigeria, and meeting you makes it clearer. Now, there was something you said to me at that first HMC, when you talked about becoming the Abraham. Are you the Abraham of your nation? Now, after that message, I was weeping and I was on my knees, and I came to you and I held your legs. And you said something in my ears. You said, a son will come out of you. That's what you said. I'm not sure you knew that you said anything. I'm not sure you can remember if you said anything.
I can't remember.
Yes. But you said a son will come out of me, and I wrote it down. And that was a confirmation of what God had told me in 2013 when I was in Nigeria. And this was 2015, meeting you in Ukraine. So I see myself as a tool in the hand of God.
Amen.
To reach the nations, to bring people to light, to enlighten people, to deliver people, from the biomass mentality, and to, propagate the kingdom of God.
What would you think people who knew you in Nigeria, who thought they knew you? I think they don't know you again.
Oh, they don't know you.
Even the pastor who sent you to me, all of them, they don't even know who you are again now.
They don't know me.
Because you have come to maturity.
Yeah.
What would you tell people who are watching us today?
Well, first of all, for them to be watching this program is a privilege. It's a privilege that they are able to even come across your videos, to even come across your teachings. It's a privilege, because if I had not listened to you, if I had not come under your mentorship, I would not have known what I was missing.
You would think you were okay.
Yeah, I would just think I'm. In fact, then I was comfortable. I thought I was doing very well. I thought I was doing very well. But on getting to meet you, I realized that I was just joking with my life. So anybody who has been able to come in contact with Dr. Sunday, I want to say to them that they shouldn't take the opportunity for granted. It's a privilege, actually, to come in contact with you. And I want to say to everyone who doesn't really listen to your message to begin to take it serious. There is life in your teachings. Anybody who listens to you will just begin to see life in a whole different, way. You have a different worldview. I want to encourage everybody, go and look for DSA's books and listen and read. Look for as many messages as you can and listen to them. And if possible, if you can come to Ukraine to meet DSA one-on-one, if you are not in Ukraine already, please, I will encourage you. It's a different thing, just, watching a Facebook video, live video, and coming to meet DSA one-on-one. It's two different things. So if you have the opportunity to come, please come and, come under mentorship. Come and be taught.
What about all the talks that people are hearing? A lot of people are afraid of associating with DSA because they are saying that, he's abusing all men of God, he's an antichrist, he doesn't have respect, he has a lot of scandals, all kind of things. People are saying, in fact, people are running away, even from listening. In fact, some people are even under bondage. Right now, there are announcements going on throughout all churches in Africa that people should never listen to DSA's messages.
Well, first of all, what I would say is that they are doing a disservice to themselves to decide not to listen to DSA, to decide to run away from DSA. They are just they are depriving themselves of all the truth and of all the knowledge that they would have gotten by meeting you. So what will I say? First of all, even Jesus, they said he had a demon. Even Jesus. Now, why did they say he had a demon? Because he was doing contrary to status quo. He was doing contrary to what religion wanted. He was doing kingdom. But the Pharisees were doing religion. And that is how it is now. People in Nigeria have been so used to religion that now it is difficult for them to identify truth. They've lost capacity for the truth. And because of that, they think that the truth is a lie. And the lie is truth. And that is why they are running. Now, you see, even those people, those pastors who are telling their members, don't listen to DSA, they still come and listen to you. Some secretly still come and listen to you. But you see, the truth of the matter is, if they did it to Jesus, then I'm not surprised that they are doing it. Because what you are bringing is not common. The knowledge that is coming out of you, I tell my wife, I said, Pastor Sunday is from another world. Pastor Sunday has, soaked himself. He has built himself. And so for somebody to not recognize that, the person must have a faulty mindset. The person must have been so blinded by religion to not see the truth that is coming and the wisdom of God that is coming from you. So let them say, they can say anything they want to say. The truth of the matter is, like you have said, you cannot do anything against the truth, only for the truth. Only for the truth. You know. So anybody who wants to run away, they are just doing a disservice to themselves. That's what I would say.
Some people are wondering, do you have videos or recordings? How can they get your videos? How can they begin to listen to you?
Okay, now I have videos I have a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel, just type Clement Ogedegbe on YouTube, and you will see all my messages that day. In fact, during the last summer holiday, my wife and I, we were coming on Facebook Live every day for over a month. We were doing Facebook Live every day, teaching, giving out knowledge to the world. And all of those videos are on YouTube. Then you could go to my Facebook page and you will see the video session. You'll see a lot of videos there.
And your Facebook page is?
Clement Ogedegbe.
YouTube also?
Yes, on YouTube.
Not Clemson, not Clemson Clement.
No, not Clemson Clement.
Okay.
Just Clement Ogedegbe.
Okay.
Then I also have a blog. It's called Grace Stand Leadership Academy.
Okay.
That's the name of my blog.
Okay.
So you could read my articles. I have a lot of articles on that blog, and some videos are also on the blog too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what a session. I think you yourself need to listen to this session again. And I'm sure your wife will be very proud of you.
Thank you, sir. I just remembered now that next week we are starting a book club. We are starting a book club next week. We want to encourage people to read books. Because like I said, I'm already feeling lonely because I've talked to a lot of people recently, students here in Ukraine, and I realized that a lot of them don't read anything outside their medical textbooks. Mm. And so we have gotten a list of books, a lot of your books and books from other authors that we are going to be reading throughout, the year. I personally, I was talking to my wife, 52 weeks in a year, 52 books to be read.
Amen.
So we're reading 52 books this year, coupled with the books we're writing, with the, Facebook videos we're doing every week. There's no way we can just live our life and not be productive again.
Amen.
Yes.
Wow. You've done so well. And for people who are asking how to get my books, just write to DSS Books, one word, dssbooks@gmail.com, or you could go to Amazon, or Okada Books, or you find Shioma in Nigeria. You can get all the books. And then you can get to read my books for free as well if you are on Kindle Unlimited. So go get the books. And it's been nice to have this program. What a wonderful, wonderful power charge program. What can I say? Well, some people are asking why they were looking for me on the other YouTube. Yes, I think we have not, it has not been open. My YouTube page was blocked because of, the HMT videos we're using. We use some unlicensed videos, so my YouTube video is still operational, it's still working, but I cannot do live. So you can go there to listen to all the messages, but we cannot just come live. So I'm using the church YouTube channel to do this. So, but we'll be back in the next 30 minutes. In the next 30 minutes, we'll be live. So I just want to thank Clement Ogedegbe for a life-changing session. Amazing. In fact, I couldn't even ask you any question. You are just flowing all by yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much. Like I said, a star is born for the world arena. Congratulations. And help me greet your wife. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.